Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our SportsNola.com first NBC weekend review. And the weekend review starts with a not very pretty review at Charlotte as the Saints went to 0-2, getting whipped by the Carolina Panthers. And it was an 8-point game, Lenny, but you never really felt the Saints ever really got back in that game after that 21-point run by the Panthers.
It felt a lot like last week. The inability of the defense to get off the field, giving up, gobs of yardage, and the Saints make a run and get the ball back with a chance to score a touchdown on a 2-point conversion to tie the game very late. Don't get it done. It had a very similar feel to the previous week, and obviously you got to give the Carolina Panthers credit. I think they spent a lot of time looking at the film of the Washington Redskins, letting Cam Newton, do things, run that spread option look, running their running backs. They have a lot better running backs than Washington does, primarily going that way. But Newton used his legs as well to run for a career high in yardage, over 200 yards rushing for the Panthers. You put those numbers together, you're just not going to win.
No, I mean, there was nothing they did well defensively and offensively. The Saints ran the ball pretty well, threw it effectively at times, dropped passes, very ill-advised throw by Breeze for the pick six. And the kicking game, by and large, was fine, but there's no way you can win in this league when you have 5 turnovers to 1 for an opponent in 2 games, when you give up 75 points in 2 games, when you give up well over 900 yards in 2 games. There's no way you can win.
Yeah, not getting takeaways. Really, the one takeaway came on a 4th down situation. In effect, it was a 4th down stop, and Cam Newton, trying to make a play, ended up turning the ball over. That is the one takeaway the Saints have had in 2 games. Yeah, that combination, by the way, giving up 900 yards in 2 games with just one takeaway, has happened 4 times in the history of the NFL, and the other 3 teams didn't fare very well. One of those was the 0-16 Lions of 4 years ago. So not a great combination right there. Clearly, they've got to do some things to make some fixes on the defensive side. The good news is you got a team that might be worse in Kansas City coming to town this week.
Well, they certainly won't have the offensive firepower, so if Kansas City shreds this Saints defense, then you can go ahead and wave the yellow flag, if not the red flag, moving forward. Still time to get this done, Saints fans, but it's going to require a superior offensive performance and a superior kicking game performance for the Saints to win this year more than 50% of their games. LSU got a little bit of a scare in the first half with Idaho, then they awakened and took care of business, and again, it's just hard to tell about these Tigers right now because of who they've played. More of a test this week, and they're on the road in the SEC, and I don't care about Auburn struggling a bit, losing to Clemson, almost losing to ULM. They'll be tough on LSU. Tigers up to number 2 in the nation, and yet we don't know how good they are.
No, we really don't at this point. The one thing is they are a better passing team than they were last year, and they continue. It doesn't matter who you put back there deep in the backfield. They have got a bevy of running backs that no matter who is lined up deepest, they can really run the football. Kenny Hilliard is tremendous. I mean, we got our first look at Jeremy Hill in the 4th quarter on Saturday night. He rushed for 60-plus yards, and you saw a little bit of the hype that he has come in with. It really doesn't matter. I mean, they held out Spencer Ware. Alfred Blue's got a little bit of a knee issue. We're going to have to see what happens with that this week. But, man, that is just a deep, deep backfield.
It is, and again, we'll find out a lot more Saturday night at Auburn about LSU as they get the SEC rolling, and we'll see how that pans out. Alabama, they just roll on, so no issues there. Tulane had the week off. Everybody's still waiting word on Devon Walker, and we'll see what transpires there. Our thoughts and prayers continue to be with him, his family, and the Tulane University family. Prep football this past weekend. Big games around the state. Calvary Baptist serving notice once again. Turling's Catholic, big win over Notre Dame. And Neville beat Washita Parish in a big one. And then, of course, here, Rummel, the number 1 team in the Sports Writers poll, and now co-number 1 in our poll at SportsNola.com in 5A, beat a very good and very highly ranked 4A team in St. Augustine.
Yeah, terrific win, and I don't think any of us expected that kind of dominant effort. We thought it would be a very tight, maybe even high-scoring kind of game, but credit to Rummel and going out and putting up that kind of performance on Saturday night.
And a record-setting performance by Tanner Lee of Jesuit, touchdown passes and yardage. Remarkable. You can read about that at SportsNola.com today because he'll be recognized for that tremendous accomplishment. So a busy week to come, and we'll see what happens as football gets rolling. Tulane, Ole Miss, LSU, of course, with Auburn, and the Saints at home against Kansas City. Saints Hall of Fame weekend, All Saints weekend, all of the alumni in town from around the country. And this Friday, Tom Benson and Deuce McAllister will be inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame at a ceremony at noon at the Louisiana Superdome, now the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, of course, and then the gala Saturday night with all the alumni out of the Rivertown Exhibition Hall in Kenner at 415 Williams Boulevard, catered by 22 restaurants. It will be fun. Don't forget Sports Nola TV tonight, 6 p.m., and you'll want to see it. Our special guest, Derlin Moore, always outspoken. The Saints Hall of Famer will join Torrance Small, Brian Alley Walsh, and I, and we will enjoy that. So, chock full of football.
Yeah, you think Derwin wants to come back and play on the defensive line? I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah. I would imagine he's got a little bit to say based on what he's seen so far. So you might want to watch at 6 p.m. this evening. Lenny, is always a pleasure.
As always, see you later this week.
That's our first NBC Bank preview and review for this past weekend as well. And, of course, much to come this week. And stay tuned to sportsnola.com for lots more information on everything in the world of sports locally and around the state. And for Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great day.